That's a great question. There are so many things that that we use Teams for that we never expected to use. Matter of fact, uh, our finance department is just on the lower floor from me, and we went over my budget sharing a screen in Teams the other day. So instead of getting my fat rear end off the chair and
Yeah.
walking about 100 feet, we did it remotely like that. I know some of my help desk actually will remote, use a team session to talk about something. Uh, we actually had a help desk guy renew one of our software packages and got on the website, and our finance person put the credit card number in for it. So it's saving us a tremendous, the water fountain conversations with that, take away from the day and stuff like that. It removes a lot of that stuff right there. For AI, the scheduling portions, just more integration with the Microsoft tools. The world's, I mean, it's an open cup on that with everything that Microsoft could integrate with, a bunch of other platforms and stuff like that. So, the telephony definitely would be a huge thing, I assume. Yeah, uh, it's going to be interesting to see what AI component brings into this.
Sure. How about you, Jason? What's any innovation you're looking forward to in the space? And do you have any thoughts about the impact of AI on the space as well?
Yeah, so in our instance on the Zoom platform, we had Zoom AIs included in our licensing for free. They just gave it to us. So you have a lot of those things like meeting summaries and transcription and all of that baked right in.
Sure.
What I think is that AI is obviously the big buzzword of 2024, and every software and hardware vendor is going to have some sort of spin on that. With that being said, you want to have something that works across all different platforms and is really integrated into your workflow. While I see the UCaaS vendors sort of using AI to enhance the value proposition, I think the way it really gets integrated is in something like Teams, where you have Office 365, and then you have the Teams platform and the other components, where you already have that language that's going to talk from one to the other. What I would need to see as far as innovation in the space is how are some of these independent vendors, or even not so independent, talk about Google with Gemini and all that. What's going to be the value proposition? Is it really going to get above just meeting transcription? Like, how are we going to leverage this to do a cost benefit analysis? So that's where I'd want to be looking, and how can we leverage AI technology to enhance the call center customer service experience? So right now you don't really have an integrated IVR/call center in any of these UCaaS platforms. You have, I think probably the closest you have is UJet with Google. But with that being said, how can I leverage the AI technology to move in that direction instead of having a mishmash of vendors, UiPath for bots, InContact, all different ones? When are we going to sort of take it to the next level? And I don't think anyone's done that yet. And that's how we'll see how the marketplace will evolve.
Sure. Yeah. It's all this, obviously, like you mentioned, it's super buzzy right now, but a lot of it's very nascent still. So we're all eagerly watching to see how it unfolds. Steve, how about you? Any comments to add here?
Like Jason, I think every vendor is espousing some AI capabilities, and the trick will be to figure out how all these things play together. But certainly, in the context of the vendors that we're talking about, I think I would expect a lot of innovation around those things. I keep coming back to telephony, but and Jason mentioned, and I think I mentioned it in the real world case that we were talking about, where I mentioned Ring Central as what their value proposition would be, but it could be applied to any of these. Is being able to leapfrog some capability that you don't have today, but that you want and you need to deploy fairly quickly because you see some value. Those are the types of capabilities that you would want to leverage from these vendors. Again, just to use RingCentral, but it could be anybody. Conversational summarization, interactive analysis, those sorts of things, to be able to get that sort of stuff out of the box, as opposed to trying to figure out how to make that happen in your own environment. That's the value. That's the kind of speed to value, I would say, that you would expect from these types of vendors, just as an example, with their innovation driving value that you might get to anyway, but you can do it in a buy versus build way, and you can get to it more quickly. That's what I would expect from these vendors.